Okay, so today we're going to loom knit this little angel. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do that. We're going to take our flower loom and we are going to make a slip knot and place that on the anchor peg. Okay. And now we're going to take our yarn and come in between the first and last pegs right there. Now we're going to weave in and out of all the pegs, going all the way around, just weave in and out. Okay, we've made it back to the front, so we're going to go behind peg 1 and then just layer yarn on top of the pegs. You don't have to pull this super tight, just lay it there. Bring your yarn all the way around and then kind of wrap it around peg 1 a bunch of times to just secure it. Okay, so every other peg has 2 yarns. So we're going to take the bottom one and bring it up over the top. If you need a slower video showing how to do a drawstring cast on, there is one in the tutorials on my channel. So after you've done every other peg, now we can come back around here and take all that yarn off of peg 1 that we wrapped with. You will notice that peg 1 does not have any yarn on it. And so to get started on row 1, we're going to layer yarn across peg 1 and reach over to peg 2 and then U-knit. And to U-knit, you just hold the yarn halfway. You don't wrap all the way around the peg, you just make more like a U. And then yarn over. And we're not holding this super tight either. It's just kind of loosely there. Alright, and that's what we're going to do all the way around. U-knit and then yarn over on all 12 pegs. Okay, that was row 1, and we're going to continue and do 5 more rows for a total of 6 rows. Okay, now we have 6 rows of U-knit. So now I'm going to do 1 row of purl. Okay, so to purl, you go down through the loop, grab the working yarn, pull it up and make a loop, and then pop that off the peg and onto the peg. The new loop back on the peg. Okay, one more time. Pop it off, and then you put this new loop back on the peg. Alright, so we're going to do that all the way around for 1 row. Alright, I'm back to my last peg now. Alright, So next we are going to U-knit. So back to the U-knit. Just go all the way around. Okay, so after the purl, this is the first row of U-knit, and we're going to U-knit 20 rows in all. So that was one. So we have 19 more rows to U-knit. And I'll meet you back up when I'm done with that. So just U-knit 19 more rows. Okay, I've made it around 20 rows for the body, and so I'm going to cut my yarn, leave a little bit of a tail to tie with, and I'm going to change colors to my skin tone, and you can change to any skin tone that you want to use. This is going to be the face. Okay, and I'm going to tie this in pretty good. All right. Now I'm going to U-knit, starting the face part of my angel. Alright, this is row 1 of the face. So I'm going to U-knit 6 more rows to do 7 rows in total for the face. Okay, I've finished 7 rows of my skin tone for the face. I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to tie in my hair color. So whatever color hair you want, tie that in now. Okay, I'm going to snip off these long tails. And now I'm going to U-knit 7 rows for the hair. Okay, that's row 1. I'm going to go 6 more rows for a total of 7. I completed 7 rows of the hair, so I'm going to go around one time and clip my tail. And now I'm going to do a drawstring bind off. Go down through the loops, pick up your tail, and just pull it through. Right, and then just take all your loops and pop them off of your pegs. Okay, now that we have our project off of the loom, let's stretch our stitches. Alright, now we are going to need some polyfill to stuff our project. Okay, we need to stuff our head part really well because we want to make it, you know, this head shape, more of a circle, and the body would be more of a tube. So just stuff the head till it starts to kind of form a head shape. Okay, and we can stuff from the other side and just push that stuffing up in the head really well. You might add a little more to try to push up in the head some more. Okay, and then once you got your head shape, then let's go ahead and fill up the tube. We don't want to overstuff the body here that we're doing now. All right. Okay, so now decide if your angel will be hanging on the tree or is it going to stand up on a tabletop. So the way we made the bottom, it is made so it can stand up. If you're going to stand it up, then you might want to put something heavy in the bottom to make it stand. I've used these pebbles that I got at Dollar Tree. It's just a little sack of these little stones. These will work. But then my husband went to Lowe's and found me these washers, and they will work also. And I found that 2 work the best. So I'm going to slip 2 of these in the bottom of my project. I think I could put a little more stuffing up in there. In the very bottom, I think I need a little more stuffing. If I can get it open. Sometimes once you close these, they don't want to open back up. Okay, so I'm going to put a little more stuffing in there. Just a little. Okay, now I'm going to place my washers back in there. All right, so now we're probably ready to tie off the head section. So I'm going to take a little bit of white and just cut some white and thread a needle. Now I'm going to decide where my the back side of my angel is. I think I'm going to make this my back. So I'm going to start at on the white stitches, and I'm just going to go in and weave in and out of every other stitch. Okay, just weave in and out till you're back to where you started. And then I'm going to pull that and then just pull this tight to tie off for the neck. And then you can wrap your yarn around both ways and come back and tie it off again. That gives a little bit of a cleaner neck look. Okay. I'm just going to tie that a couple of times to make sure it's secure. All right. And then I'm going to thread my needle, and I'm just going to take these ends and somewhere around the neckline go in and just come out somewhere lower. And then snip off the tails, and what's remaining there will just pop back up into the project. All right. So if your head is fine and you're happy with the way your head is, we can go ahead and tie that off. pull it and close it, and then just take your yarn and tie that off so it's secure. And I'm going to do it twice. Now it come off my needle, so I'm going to thread it back on there so I can run my tail in and come out somewhere around the back of the head and snip that tail. All right. So now we have our body. All right, so now we need to make some arms. Okay, so now to make the angel arm, we're going to start with the hand, and we're going to use our flesh color. So make a slip knot and place that on the anchor peg, and we're going to be using 6 pegs. So we're going to go behind peg 1 and weave in and out for just 6 pegs. Then when you get to the 6th peg, wrap it and then come back to the front of the pegs and just lay your yarn there. Okay, so just hold your yarn right here, and then we're just going to bring the loops up over, and it should be aligned every other one, so just bring that up over, and this one up over, and that's the last one. So back here on the peg 1, you're just going to wrap it and then start U-knitting on that 2nd peg. This is row 1. Okay, and this looks weird when we pop this one over, but it's fine. Okay, then just push them down. Go ahead and wrap on around that last peg. And this is row 2, going back towards our anchor peg. Okay, so that's row 2. And then we're going to do rows 3 and 4, and that will be all for the flesh color. Okay, so that is row 3, and now we're going to head back to complete row 4, and that will be the last row for our flesh. Then we are going to change colors to the white for the sleeve of the angel. Okay, and we can let go of this anchor peg. Push that in and pull it out the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to clip this. I'm going to leave enough tail to sew the hand up. So decide how much you need to sew your hand together. And then as I'm adding this in, I'm going to leave a longer tail so I can sew the arm up. And I'm going to tie this in. And I'm pulling it really close to my peg. Just pulling it down, and I'm going to tie it tight. And then I'm going to tie these two together a couple of times. There we go. Now, I'm going to let these two long tails just hang down the bottom. Okay, and so now we're just going to U-knit. This is row 1 of the white. And this will be row 2 going back in this direction. And so after this row, we need to do 8 more rows because the arm sleeve is 10 rows in all. So finishing up row 2, I'm going to do 8 more rows and then I will meet you back. Remember, this way counts 1 row and this way counts 1 row. So I'll meet you back when we get to 10. Okay, I completed 10 rows of the white. So now we need to take our project off the loom. And on one arm, I'm going to leave a long tail, and one arm does not need a long tail. So only one arm that you make will need this because you need to make 2 arms. So I'm just leaving a very long tail. That's how much of a tail left. Okay, so I'm going to do a drawstring bind off. Okay. Now we need to stretch our stitches. Just pull them open. Okay, so with the first tail that we left of the flesh color, we're going to sew up the hand with that. We're going to do something different with this tail, so just leave it hanging there. So go ahead and thread your needle, and we're just going to close up this hand, and then you're just going to sew it from side to side, whichever way you're comfortable with sewing it. There's actually no wrong way or right way to sew it. Just whip stitch it closed. And this will be on the neck, facing the body of your arm. It's the inside of the arm, so it will face the body. So it won't be seen that bad. Okay. And then tie it off. Check and make sure you got, all your little gaps. And I'm actually going to take this extra strand and this one and just tie them together. And then I'm going to take the needle that I have threaded and just run it somewhere down into the hand and pull it out and clip that off. Now this other tail, just leave it hanging there. We are going to do something with it. And let's take our long tail that we left and pull that close, but leave your long tail just hanging off to the side. And let's take this tail that's at the end of the hand and sleeve. Let's thread it. And just whip stitch your sides together. And notice we didn't use any stuffing. It really doesn't need any. The arms will be fine on their own. without stuffing. Okay, when you get to the last one, you might want to just tie it off, and then actually we could take these two strands and tie a knot there to tie that together. Okay, and then the strand you have on your needle, just poke that in and come out somewhere on the inside part of the arm, and you can snip that off. Okay, so now we have our arm, and make two arms, but this arm doesn't need all those extra tails. You can leave the tails to sew it together, but then snip off any extras. Okay, let's see. So looking at your angel, decide what is the back of your head. I think that's going to be the back of my head, and this is going to be the front. So I want to take my arm with the long tail. I'm going to thread it on my needle. Okay, and I'm going to come down through the top and come out the inside of the arm. Not too far down, just enough that it is coming from the side part of the arm. Okay. Now, looking at my angel, I'm figuring out where my face is, and I'm not actually adding a face to mine because I like mine just to have the plain face. But I'm just imagining a face right here, so this would be the side. Stick your needle through and just feel like if you're, happy with that. What we're going to do is take this arm and stick it on the needle. And this arm is going to come up when we pull it through. So there we have our arms. And I'm going to go back through this arm, not the same stitch that yarn come out of, but one up above it. And I'm going to go all the way through and come out this side. And I'm trying to go back through the same holes that this yarn came in and came out, in and out over here. So I'm just going all the way through the angel's body and through the arm. And you can pull this as tight as you need to make sure your arms are there. And then I'm going to go back through the arm, not in the same stitch, but somewhere close by. And I'm going to come out up here at the base of the neck and the back, on the back side of my angel. And I'm going to just tie this off. Okay, and I tied it off, but I'm just going to leave that hanging there in case I need this to help with the wings. So I'm just going to leave all that to the back there. Now, coming back to the hands, I want to sew my hands together like this. So that's what I'm going to use this thread for. So I'm going to take my needle, go up in the hand, and come out on the inside of the hand. And I'm just going to go all the way through to this hand and just pull my yarn all the way through. And then I'm going to go in a different stitch and go back through both hands to come out on this side. Now you don't want to pull it so tight that it makes a misshapen, so make sure you're happy with the way your hands are, the way they're placed together. Okay, and then you can take your needle and go in a different stitch, somewhere the next one or something, and come out in between the hands. So you're coming out in between the hands, and I'm going to just tie this off. And I'm probably going to tie it off one more time to make sure that's good and secure. Okay. And then take your needle and just run it. You can run it somewhere up the sleeve, out the other end of the arm. If you were using a dark skin tone, then you wouldn't want to run up through the sleeve because you'd probably see your dark yarn. But anyway, so there's my hands. And now we need to make wings. So push my angel off to the side. I'm going to make a slip knot and place it on the anchor peg. Alright, and I'm going to do a drawstring cast on. Okay, so that's the cast on. And now to start row 1, I'm going to undo all that, stretch that across peg 1, and go to peg 2, and just start U-knitting. Okay, so that was row 1, and I'm going to do 14 more rows to have a total of 15 rows for the wings. So just keep going around till you have completed 15 rows. Okay, I did 15 rows for my angel wings, and if you want your wings to stick out further, you can do more. I did mine 15, which is about the same on this one. So if you want it, to stick out a lot more, you could do 20. So I'm going to wrap my yarn, my working yarn, around this one good time and snip it and do a drawstring bind off. And that's where you just pull in your tail up through each loop on all 12 pegs. And talking about our doll here, I put the washers inside mine. I'd also showed that you could put those pebbles from the Dollar Tree. You could take make a little cloth sack or a little plastic sack and put beans or rice or something like that. Or you could put nothing at all. If you plan to hang it on your Christmas tree, I wouldn't put any weights in it. So once you get the weight that you want in it and how it stands up, then you can close off the bottom of your angel. So I'm going to close the bottom of mine off. Alright, so now I have my wings. And I'm going to close up each end. And make sure you did stretch out your fabric there. And close off your end. Okay, then I'm going to take my yarn and go in a stitch right close to that. I'm having trouble finding a spot. And I'm going to go in through to about the middle and come out about midway. And I'm just going to leave that tail there. Then I'm going to go to the other end and close off that end. Alright, and then the same thing. Go through. And you could come off the other side. And that way we can tie our wings around the middle. And I'm going to take my 2 strings here and tie them together to gather it in the middle. But be careful, you don't want to draw up. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap my strand around, wrap this strand around, and then tie it again. And then you can tie it tighter because it's not going to draw it up that time. Okay, I'm going to tie that just a couple of times to make sure it is secure. And if you like it, you're happy with it, I'm going to snip off my shortest tail. And I'm going to come to the back of my angel. Now I did leave this tail just in case I need it, but if I don't need it, I'm just going to snip it off. I'm going to thread the tail that's on my wings. It's coming off right here in the middle. And I'm just going to go back here to my angel, somewhere on its back. See where I want to place these. And I'm just going to go up through a couple of stitches. Pull my wings. Then I'm going to go across the top of the wings, go up under and go in those stitches again. Push the needle through and then pull it tight so it draws the wings close to the body. And I'm going to do that a couple of times, just going up under the wings and up through the stitches on the angel's body. and then pulling it through. And then I guess what I'm going to use this strand for that I left is to tie these two strands together. I'm going to tie those a couple of times. Alright. And now you can take your needle, just poke it through anywhere close by there, and come down, come out the bottom. The same thing with this one, except you don't need that long of a tail to push through. Just to get rid of this tail, I'm going to go in and come out over here. And that hides the tails. Snip it off, and those will just go up inside the body. Okay, so if your angel stands well enough that you're happy with it, and you're ready to tie it off, you can close up the bottom of your angel. Okay, so I'm going to close off the bottom of mine. Alright, now I'm just going to run my needle up and come out the back side of my angel. And clip that tail off. Alright, and now we have an angel. And she has her little hands together. And like I said, I'm not going to add a face to mine. You can add a face if you would like. I like the look of the willow tree dolls without a face, and so I just like that look. So I'm not going to add a face. I want the focus to just be on that it's an angel and not about her face. So I hope you enjoyed making your angel, and I will be back with videos for Mary Joseph and Baby Jesus and possibly some wise men if I don't run out of time before Christmas. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much.